Hello and welcome back to Happening Horror. It's me, your girl Heather, yet again. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2009 film Trick or Treat. And that would explain the pumpkins. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. That way you get notifications when I post new videos every week. Trick or Treat, an adorable movie given to us by the wonderful Michael Daughtry in 2009. He also gave us movies like Krampus and the new Godzilla movies that came out in 2019 and 2021. And let me just say, this film is a blast to watch. It's super simple to follow, and it's definitely a film I would recommend for people who are a little bit new to horror and they don't want to go directly into something super scary and super gory. It's a fun film and I really enjoy it. So let me tell you some of my favorite things about the movie. In the opening scene of this film, before we get to meet the lovely character of Sam, we get to meet Anna Paquin portraying the character of Laurie, which is a brief stint for her. I loved this opening sequence. When her husband goes inside and falls asleep, we see Anna Paquin outside by herself taking down the horror decorations, which I think is great. The way they had it set up with all of the ghosts just hanging there and the body limbs hanging from the trees as well, I thought was very well done. And let me just say, the jump scare we get when we are introduced to Sam for the first time, without actually seeing his face, only the sucker, was one of my favorites. It was a classic Hollywood jump scare. And for me, it was well done. I thought it was a great way to start off the film and get us rolling. So thank you for that. I loved it so much. And I want to talk about a character I did not like. Macy. It was obvious right off the bat that Macy is just a terrible person. She has an attitude problem that needed a serious adjustment, and let me tell you what, she got it. This poor girl and her friends lure little innocent Wanda from her home and tell her this huge story about the legend of the town and how the kids went over the cliff into the rock quarry. And then they go down there and they pull this terrible prank on Rhonda, this poor unsuspecting girl. So when the kids actually arise from the bus and start going after Macy and her friends, and Rhonda's just chilling in there in the elevator with her pumpkin lit, her jack-o'-lantern, and she decides to go up and leave them there, I was like, you know what, Rhonda, good for you, because Macy's a terrible person. She's a regular female dog. That's the PG way of saying it. But yes, I did not like Macy. She was awful. I was glad she was gone. The actress was great. Character was terrible. But I want to talk about a character I really did like, and that was Principal Stephen Wilkin. I loved his character. I really did. When we see him sitting there on the porch with that poor kid, and he says, always check your candy. And that poor kid is just on the front steps and gets dragged into the house. It was something else. But what made me like the character so much is when he's in the backyard burying the body of this child that he killed with poisonous candy. I loved how he was speaking to the neighbor and how he was speaking to his son Billy. It was very, oh my gosh, please shut up, Billy. Please shut up, neighbor. And he was quirky and sinister, and I was really enjoying it. Oh, I love it. So we all know I love my fun facts, and here's one for you about this film. If you pause exactly at the opening montage, briefly you will be able to see Sam's real face. So I want you guys to check that out and tell me if you see it down in the comments, because I did. Teenage sexy werewolves. Not something I was expecting to see in this film. I was expecting to see maybe some teenagers get slaughtered, like your classic horror cliche, but nope. They threw us off track. And little did we know that those beautiful girls were actually raging, hairy werewolves who were feeding on men. Just casually going about it on Halloween. But you know what? They were embracing their womanhood and they were enjoying it. It was an odd scene, but I was there for it. As silly as it sounds, it was a fun scene for me to watch, especially since I was taken off guard by it. That made it that more enjoyable. The sequence of Mr. Keg's home, where we get to see Sam in his real form, and it's so much fun to watch this scene. When I was watching this scene, I really enjoyed the bedroom, how Sam had written all over the ceiling in the blood and was just standing there. But I gotta give him props for giving that good slice to Mr. Keg's leg and just dropping him to the ground and not going after him just right away. I really enjoyed that. And then what I enjoyed was the fight sequence downstairs between Sam and Mr. Keg. When Mr. Keg just threw him against the wall, Sam falls, and then Keg just blasts him with a shotgun. It's one of the few times I have seen a horror movie character like Mr. Keg actually shoot the bad guy in the head and then realize he's out of ammo and then reload and put in a couple more shots. It was great. But I gotta hand it to Mr. Keg when Sam goes to stab him with that lollipop, that piece of chocolate right there, saving his life. Super clever. And then Sam just is like, okay. And then eats the chocolate and then leaves. I thought it was great. It was like, hey man, that's all I wanted. Music is a critical part of horror films and films in general for myself. A well done score can really help your film. And I think the score for this film was well done. At moments, I was getting slight hints of Danny Elfman. It was kind of airy and quirky at times for certain scenes, which did fit and it kind of lightened the mood, which I thought was great. It wasn't consistently heavy and it wasn't too happy and cheery all the time. So when we moved on through the movie, we actually saw a wide variety of music. It got sinister and kind of dark, and it kept that tone following with the scenes. And I really, really appreciated it. Music is a critical part of horror films and films in general for myself. A well done score can really help your film. And I think the score for this film was well done. At moments, I was getting slight hints of Danny Elfman. It was kind of airy and quirky at times for certain scenes, which did fit and it kind of lightened the mood, which I thought was great. It wasn't consistently heavy and it wasn't too happy and cheery all the time. So when we moved on through the movie, we actually saw a wide variety of music. It got sinister and kind of dark, and it kept that tone following with the scenes. And I really, really appreciated it. One of my favorite things I actually learned when researching facts for you is that the name Sam that our character has actually comes from the Gaelic celebration of Samhain. And I will put a link down below so you guys can read about it. Samhain was a Gaelic celebration and still is that would be held on October 31st and would go through November 1st. And it was the celebration of going into the darker half of the year or season. And they would dress traditionally in costume and light bonfires because it would ward off the spirits and help transition into that time of year. And now it has become Halloween. so we can have the Gaelics to thank for their amazing culture in the modern day Halloween. Because without them, there would be no costumes and jack-o'-lanterns to ward off evil spirits. The jack-o'-lanterns, that is, and costumes. And without them, there would be no Santa. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining me on my channel yet again, Happening Horror. I always love it when you guys tune in and leave comments down below so I know what you guys think and what movies you want to see me review. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like as well. That way you guys know when I post new videos about your favorite films. Next week, I'm going to be doing John Carpenter's classic, Halloween. Also, I just started an Instagram account, especially for this channel, just for you guys, where I'm going to be posting fun facts about the films, me doing my little ditties about doing my videos. It's going to be just so much fun, and I want you guys to check it out, and I'll put the link down below for you. So, I want you guys to remember, keep your jack-o'-lanterns lit, always check your candy, stay safe, and stay spooky.